Time. You've been up a long time, buddy. Thanks for being here.
You know what time it is. It's Friday.
That's right, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Also got producer Ethan and producer Emily in studio with us today. We'll have a little Friday fun time a little bit later on in the show, and kind of send you off into the weekend with a hopefully smile on your face and get everybody involved in the conversation. Before that, we got to wrap up the crazy week that was. Also, we're going to bring you the weekend forecast as we do every Friday afternoon. And just about 40 minutes from now, about 2:45, we are going to talk to Kent Earhart, meteorologist over at Channel 4. Kent is going to give us the weekend forecast so we know what to expect weather-wise. Will there be more rain? Will there be more heat? Will it be nice for once? We'll find out from Kent in just a little bit. Also, our buddy Ken Williams from the Vic Porcelli Show will be joining us in about 10 minutes here in the studio as well.
Ken might have something to say about what happened.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. There might be some discussion there.
All the things this week.
All of
the things that have happened.
Oh, no.
I don't even know where to start. Yesterday was unbelievable. So let me walk through my experience with the press conference yesterday, the big boy press conference.
The big boy press conference, yes.
It was originally scheduled for 5:30 in New York or in Washington.
Right.
So
4:30 our time.
Our time.
Mm-hmm.
So originally we were talking about, hey, this press conference, we should carry it.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously.
We should carry it. What's the plans? Let's do this. Okay, 4:30. That's going to be right, towards the beginning of the Tim Jones and Chris Arp show. It'll give them plenty of time to carry the press conference and react to it. Great.
Right.
Then later on in the afternoon,
they
reschedule it to 6:30 in Washington. So 5:30 our time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not as great, but for Tim and Chris, at least.
Sure.
Not as great for them because they'll be able to carry it, but they won't have very much time to react to it.
Right.
Because turn things over to Larry Connors USA at 6 o'clock. 5:30 comes, 5:30 goes, 6 o'clock comes and goes.
Mm-hmm.
I came into the studio yesterday with Chris to wrap up the show with him. So I was in studio about 5:45 talking with Chris. We're talking about, is this press conference going to start or not? We're ready to go. I'm telling Quentin, who was in for Joey yesterday, the producer, if this starts, we're going to go to it. Even if we're at the end of the show, even if it's supposed to be top of the hour news, we're going to this press conference no matter what. So let's keep an eye on it. Nope. Doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Still nope.
Finally, we get into 6 o'clock. Producer Quentin also is Larry Connor's producer. So I'm telling him hey, look, we might have to bust into your show here and go to this press conference at some point. It's probably going to happen right at the beginning of your show now. 6:15, 6:30. This man is still not on the stage.
And we don't know why.
And I still don't know why.
Yeah.
Did they ever say why?
No one
I never
knows
heard
why.
anybody say why what took so freaking long. A press conference that was originally scheduled for 4:30 our time didn't happen until 6:30 or later, maybe even a little after 6:30. I can't remember exactly what time it started. But anyway, luckily we had just Larry had just gone to his first break. And finally, this man takes the stage. So we break away from Larry Connors. We carry, 15, 20 minutes of the press conference and then back to regularly scheduled programming with Larry Connors USA. But as we're sitting here in the studio watching it, right? Live.
Yes.
We're waiting. First of all, we're all super frustrated and aggravated.
Yes.
Because we're trying to plan our lives around this man, the shows. Everybody's having to keep an eye on the television screen and having to keep an eye on the internet and, make sure we're ready to go when he is. And it said, the TV said Biden press conference moments away for an hour and a half.
Those were some long
It
moments.
was moments away.
Many moments.
For an hour plus.
Mm-hmm.
Then he finally gets out there.
Mm-hmm. Shuffles on stage.
And it's all worth it.
It's all worth it. I love that expression. You're totally right. Now, I was not planning on watching this. For some reason, Janet came home from work just jazzed up to pay attention to this thing. She's usually not involved in it. She usually relies on me to sort of provide whatever commentary on the world.
But he's got everybody interested in himself these days.
Well, yeah. Well, part of the thing about the big boy press conference was we're going to show you. He had a bad night, debate night. We're going to put on a show for you so you understand how with it this man is. He's at the top of his game.
So
this is the best Biden we've ever seen. All the commentary.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be his showcase, essentially, to say, look, I'm still in command here. And then he opened his mouth. He opened his mouth, and it was all downhill from there. Now, granted, I think in the grand scheme, he did better during the press conference than he did during the debate.
Sure.
But
that's not saying
anything.
That's like I keep saying he's the best candidate. I still believe that he's the best Democrat to win a national election. That's not an endorsement of Joe Biden. That's an indictment of the Democratic Party. So that same kind of thing.
Yeah.
He was better, I guess, a little bit better. I do agree that he was a little bit better yesterday than he was in the debate, but that's not an endorsement of his performance yesterday. It's an indictment of him, of
his
capabilities and where they are at.
Oh my gosh.
So we're in this studio. Like I said, producer Quentin from Larry Connors USA is here. We're in, and we cut away. We go to the show or go to the press conference. First of all, Quentin is just screaming at everything the man says.
Oh yeah,
we should have had cameras.
Oh yeah.
Oh
my gosh,
I
kind of wanted to hear Quentin's live take of that whole deal because
he's
always got a funny
reaction.
He
is not. That is a lie. And then
he gets so jazzed.
Yeah. And then he goes
gosh.
to take the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And first off, the first thing he says is, I have a list of people that I have to call on.
He was out.
We've all seen that, and we know that happens, but I don't think by and large most voters know that that's been the way that Biden handles these press conferences.
No, not the people who are just tuning in now because the debate kind of woke them up.
And then it's the very first question when he says Vice President Trump.
The memes were almost instantaneous. Have you seen some of these memes?
Yes.
Where they
see the one with Zelensky and Harris shaking hands?
Oh yeah, it's like,
and it says, "Nice to meet you, President Putin. Nice to meet you, Vice President Trump."
Yes, that's a great one. But then there were two different ones. There's one that's kind of superimposing Trump's face on Kamala Harris's body.
Oh no!
And then there was another one that did the opposite. It's got Kamala Harris's face on Trump's body. So the memes were almost, they were spot on. Everybody was ready for some reason. I don't know why. It's almost like he's a gaffe machine, and everybody was ready to respond to whatever the heck he was going to say.
It was the second time recently. The very last Biden press conference or Biden speech that happened during our show when Katie was still here, we went to it, and Katie and I were like live witnessed a gaffe. And you're like, when you witness it live, it's like finding gold.
It hits
like
different. It hits different.
You're like, whoa! It's like
clip it.
Yeah,
take it.
I was just about to make the most ridiculous analogy that nobody would understand. I was going to say it's like catching a shiny Pokemon.
That's true.
There's like 10% of the people that know, like,
yes,
Pokemon Go. If you are when you're playing a Pokemon game and you come across a shiny Pokemon, you're like,
whoa,
yes,
get it,
yes,
get it.
Oh, God. Like that's the reaction to hearing a gaffe live.
Yes, that's
true. So not only does
if you're in this business in particular,
not only does he do the I have a list of people I'm going to ask. Then the very first, and the best thing about it was nobody corrected him. Nobody stopped it.
No,
you could hear the room just kind of all go,
yes.
But nobody correct. Like, and he just, he said, well, I wouldn't have selected Vice President Trump if I didn't think she was capable of leading the country.
He just went through. He just powered right through. Yep.
And then literally tries to convince people that he's okay and that he didn't like make a mistake about the Putin thing earlier in the day, which I somehow missed until later in the afternoon. I was a few hours behind.
Really? That was actually the first thing I saw when I went online just to see what people were talking about.
I was a few hours behind the Putin thing. I didn't see it till later in the day yesterday when he introduced Vladimir Zelensky at a press conference as President Putin.
Well,
I mean, are you freaking?
it's
So in the
almost
same
worse.
day, he introduced Vladimir Zelensky as President Putin and said Vice President Trump when he's trying to talk about Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And he's trying to tell us that he's okay.
The NATO one is clearly worse because, first of all, we're on the world stage. We are the leader of that organization. We make up the bulk of whatever force it's capable of producing in the world. And we're the primary ally of Ukraine, essentially, in their war with Russia. And of course, Putin is trying to become essentially the president of Ukraine.
Yeah.
So
right.
What Joe Biden said is like, and now the president of Ukraine, President Putin.
Yeah. And then did you see when he was asked about that in that press conference yesterday? We talked a lot about this yesterday. How angry Joe Biden gets when he is challenged about anything or when he's pressed about something. So when this reporter was a foreign reporter, I don't know what organization he was with. I want to say Reuters, but that's a guess. But it was, I think, the second question in the press conference yesterday. Go back and find it yourself. He's a foreign reporter, and so his question, from an international standpoint, carries a little bit more weight. And he said, "Do you think all of these gaffes, calling Vladimir Zelensky, President Zelensky, Putin, and does that embarrass or does that lower America's standing on the world stage, the United States standing on the world stage?" And Biden just basically snapped, like, do you think we're weak? Do you think we've lowered? What are you watching, man? What are you looking at?
Oh, wow.
Like he gets so angry when people, because his ego can't handle it and he doesn't know. And I mean, when people are quick to anger, it's because they don't have a good explanation.
Yeah.
You only get mad when you're beat.
You hit that sore spot, you got no armor out for it, right?
Right. You only get mad like that when your ego is bruised and you don't have a real comeback.
You feel cornered.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He raised, in particular, the way Biden handles these things. He always raises his voice when he knows he's cornered.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a good answer.
Because he's not used to it.
No.
We've talked about this a bunch. He lives a life surrounded by yes men. And when he does make a mistake or he does get challenged about something, he knows that all he has to do is either raise his voice and tell everybody they're wrong, and they'll say, "I'm sorry, Mr. President, you're right."
Right.
Or he can just make up any excuse he wants, any reasoning he wants, and the people around him will say, "Oh, you're right. Okay, it's okay."
Yeah, what
he
beautiful
never
clothes
has
you have
to.
on,
Yeah,
Emperor.
yeah, exactly. He never has to defend himself. He never truly has to answer for his mistakes in his everyday life.
Right.
Because he's surrounded by enablers and yes men.
And weirdly, it's been that way for his entire political career.
Yeah, because the media has always been complacent in that.
Yeah,
but now the media is not, and he doesn't know how to handle it.
Even when they caught him in plagiarism way back in the day, that took him out of his first run for president. Gosh, was that the 90s, the 80s?
Long time ago.
Even back then, it was very much a sort of tepid.
The law school transcripts where he told people that he graduated at the top of his class, but
he was
like in the bottom third or bottom fourth of his class.
Yeah. It's kind of wild looking at his entire career being such a
lie.
A lie. All of it. It's a cluster.
It is.
And he constantly has these personal stories that he keeps telling that are obvious, provable lies.
Many of them.
He keeps claiming his son died in Afghanistan or something like that, as opposed to a brain tumor later that's completely unrelated to his service.
Yeah. Then you got the train guy.
The train thing is like he rode with the train guy who'd been dead.
Walking in the Himalayas with Xi Jinping.
Exactly.
Getting arrested with Nelson Mandela.
Yes, that's right.
And the civil rights, which never happened. None of those things ever happened.
And if you put together all of the neighborhoods that he grew up in, that are the various ethnicities,
Puerto Rican, Jewish, Greek, Black. He's been everything.
All of them. Apparently his neighborhood was basically the UN farm.
Yes.
Out there in Delaware. So I have no idea.
Yeah, it's all built on lies. That is Gabe Pfeiffer from Mike Ferguson in the Morning. He's sticking around all show today, stepping in and helping me out with the co-host duties today. We're going to be joined in studio by our buddy Ken Williams for the Vic Porcelli Show, and I have an article here, 5 takeaways from the Biden Big Boy press conference that I would like to go over with you gentlemen when we get back to Colombo and Katie next on 101.9 and 94.1. Colombo and Katie, Colombo and Company.
There you go.
That's going to happen a lot.
Yeah.
You know where you're at. Back in a minute.
I think you're a little confused.
News, analysis, opinion.
I've got something to say and I can't hold it any longer.
101.9 and 94.1.
You won't hear the truth anywhere but here. News Talk STL.
News Talk STL.
If you are going to be enjoying the great outdoors this weekend or anytime soon, make sure you prepare for that trip by visiting our friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton, Illinois, about a mile east of Fast Cities. They're on Broadway in Alton. Bluff City Outdoors is open every day, and I mean every day. They are only closed 3 days a year, which is absolutely amazing. They're closed on Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's Day, and usually not even half the day on New Year's Day. So Bluff City Outdoors is there for you 7 days a week, all year long. They are your go-to place for your next fishing trip. They can take care of all your bow hunting needs. They can take care of your trapping needs and so much more. They also have their state-of-the-art archery range, which is pretty much exactly 2 years old at this point, which is brand spanking new, state-of-the-art archery range. It's open every day for you to shoot in out there at Bluff City Outdoors. Leagues are getting ready to start back up out there. So if you want to get into an archery league, you need to get out to Bluff City Outdoors and get yourself in that as well. And of course, don't forget about the Bluff City Outdoors show, which airs every Saturday morning at 11 and Sundays at noon here on News Talk STL, hosted by myself and the owner of Bluff City Outdoors, Mark McMurray. They are your go-to place for your next fishing trip, all the gear, all the bait, everything you need for your next trip on the water or in the great outdoors in general. They have you covered at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton. Learn more by following Bluff City Outdoors on Facebook or just go to bluffcityoutdoors.com.
Caring for a loved one is stressful. It's an emotional time, and we want our loved ones to get the quality of care they deserve. But the cost of long-term care is expensive. In the St. Louis area, it could be $60,000, $70,000, or even over $100,000. Can your savings handle this added expense? Fortunately, News Talk STL listeners have an expert right here. Financial strategist Chris Cooper of Serenity Wealth Management shows families tax-efficient strategies to fund care needs. Whether planning in advance, have health concerns, or living in a care community today, solutions exist to fund the quality of care you deserve.
Hi, I'm Chris Cooper, and I'd love to send you a free copy of my new book. You'll learn about strategies to empower you and your family, protect your savings, and make sure your loved ones get the quality of care they deserve.
Visit SerenityLTC.com. That's SerenityLTC.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
St. Louis is all about sports, and now is your chance to take home a one-of-a-kind Cardinals jersey. On Saturday, July 27th, the Birds on the Bat host the Washington Nationals, and that night, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will receive a Cardinals basketball jersey presented by Air National Guard. Don't miss your chance to add this unique jersey to your collection. That's the Cardinals basketball jersey, Saturday, July 27th. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotions.
Hola, amigos. This is Cardinals broadcaster Polo Asensio, inviting you to join us on Sunday, July 28th, when the Cardinals host the Washington Nationals. On this day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home a Cardinals polo. No, not me. A polo shirt featuring an STL all over print design. Thanks to Busey Bank. This is the first promo of its kind, so it's one you don't want to miss. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotions.
News, analysis, opinion.
It almost seems common sense, but, alas, common sense isn't so common these days.
News Talk STL.
Southern nights. Have you ever felt the sun?
Everybody's dancing. Everybody likes the Glenn Campbell, huh?
It's Glenn Campbell.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company and crew and question mark. We got a studio full with producer Ethan, producer Emily in studio. Gabe Pfeiffer from Mike Ferguson in the Morning is my co-host today. And now also in studio with us is the great Ken Williams from the Vic Porcelli Show.
And by the way, I like Colombo and Company. I like that.
Yeah,
isn't that cool?
No,
I think that's going to be the working title for the next few weeks at least.
It's snappy.
While we figure things out.
Yeah, when Susie was in here, I heard her say it, and I'm like, whoa, hey, wait a minute.
Gotta give Susie more credit for that one. So
believe me, she's come up with so much stuff for the Vic Porcelli show. It's amazing.
Yeah, maybe we'll I think maybe that'll be at least for
now.
At least temporarily. Maybe Colombo and Company will be the name of the show as we have a rotating revolving door of guest hosts that'll be helping me out over the next several weeks while we figure out a permanent solution to replacing Katie. And Gabe has been nice enough to be one of those gentlemen. And
I'm in the rotation.
Ken, thanks for all the help you give us here as well. Couldn't do it without this great team around us. Susie Moore will be back with me on Monday and Tuesday of next week. So looking forward to those conversations as well.
Thanks for putting me in, Coach.
Yeah,
no kidding.
Thanks for being here.
And by the way, don't be jealous, but Katie was on our stream today. She was actually commenting in our chat box today.
Oh, nice.
Well, her and I are still like she's completely out of media now.
Right.
People that are still asking, like she didn't go anywhere in the public arena, so she's still able to come on.
Yeah.
So we're figuring things out. She's got a lot going on, obviously, with this new gig and everything. But I think we'll be checking in with her on a regular basis going forward. Hopefully,
Absolutely.
at least once every month or
Good
so.
deal.
So you'll still hear from.
And she'll probably still be at
and
station
she's still in the
events
band,
station events and stuff like that.
station events. Still in the band.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got a band gig that we're going to be announcing very, very soon.
Nice.
So yeah, Katie is always going to be a part of the family, of course. I wanted to we'll get into this story. I got this story from a little earlier this afternoon. 5 takeaways from Biden's comeback press conference. Don't think the comeback part happened. But first, I just saw this story come across literally at the break there. So I wanted to get everybody's thoughts on this. Democrat donors to withhold $90 million in campaign donations until Joe Biden walks.
Whoa. Really?
This is a story on Newsmax right now, but it is a report. It's being reported by the New York Times. Several top donors to the Democratic Party will withhold about $90 million in promised donations unless President Joe Biden steps aside from his re-election campaign. The New York Times reported. Again, I'm reading this from Newsmax.
That's incredible.
Donors to the pro-Biden super PAC Future Forward are reportedly holding on to tens of millions of dollars in promised donations, including multiple contributions and the 8 figures. 2 sources who spoke under the condition of anonymity told the Times these sources estimate the total amount of frozen donations to be around or above $90 million.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Now, listen, we all know there's one thing that motivates this world and moves this world, and it is money, baby.
That's right.
And Joe Biden can dig his heels in. He can convince people in the White House or maybe even people in the Democratic Party that he's okay and that he should stay and that he's the best person to win an election. But if we're talking about $100 million all of a sudden not going into the Democratic campaign coffers, that will change things tremendously, I think. Ken, what are your thoughts on that story? I just literally, like I said, I just came across it here in the last few minutes.
Well, you nailed it. First of all, money does talk. I mean, that's the big deal. But I got to tell you, I heard this thing about Barack Obama in 2016 told Joe, you need to not run for president.
Yeah.
You need to stop. You need to walk away. I'm done. And what did Joe do? He said, forget you. So, you keep hearing about Barack Obama running the controls and everything, but Joe in his state that he's in right now, all he's got to say is, no, I'm staying in.
Joe's ego
should
never be. But it was Barack Obama that said never underestimate Joe Biden's ability to screw something up.
Or in other words,
Yeah. In other words,
Uh-huh.
never underestimate the power of Joe Biden's ego.
Yes,
either. I think those two statements should go hand in hand.
Well, you know this because like you guys were talking about earlier, he inserted himself in every single thing. That's that narcissistic attitude.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they don't call him the big guy for nothing, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. When you nickname yourself the big guy,
The big guy.
Yeah, that's all you need to know about somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, my dad once told me, he said, you know, a lot of people talk about black versus white or red versus blue. He said that the most important color is green.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and money makes the world go round, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And all the people who are calling for Joe to leave the race, all the various politicians we've seen come out of the woodwork and say, you know what, I think maybe Joe should take a step back. All these people coming through with their advice for the Joe Biden campaign means nothing unless there's money tied to it.
Right.
You know, so there are certain people who I think who basically represent money. Nancy Pelosi and what's the other guy? Chuck Schumer.
Schumer. Yeah.
Those two represent money. So if and when they actually make the call, that's also representative of hundreds of millions of dollars as well. So this first $100 million is a massive volley from salvo from the people who want him to get out of the race, and this could expedite that situation.
Yeah. Did you have something else?
No, he mentioned
mentioned
money and Nancy Pelosi, and all I can say is she just breached $250 million in her personal accounts.
Yeah.
And she's
never done anything but be a congresswoman.
Nope.
Correct.
Why
at $175,000 to $200,000 a year.
Right. Why should you be worth $250 million?
I'll tell you why.
If you're just a
public servant.
I'll tell you why. Because she is the most successful Wall Street person in the history of Wall Street.
Why?
She has a better record than Warren Buffett.
There you go, brother.
How come?
You got it right.
It's kind of wild.
That's it.
It's crazy. Actually,
almost like she might have known something before they happened.
Oh,
or
Tony,
had control
Mr.
on what would
Conspiracy
do good
Theorist.
and what wouldn't do good.
Are you saying that as speaker she could control the
market,
the market through legislation, calendars, and things like that?
You're gonna get thrown off of YouTube and everything else again.
Exactly.
Okay, my bad. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions, guys.
And the answer to the question is yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, which is
Yes,
also why
absolutely.
I actually follow Nancy Pelosi's trading through a couple of Freedom of Information Act based mutual funds and things like that. So I've been doing okay.
Okay, so
all right,
90 million,
thank you, Nancy.
90 million, $100 million being withheld.
Mm-hmm.
Does this mean? I give you credit for being one of the very first people to say that Joe Biden wasn't going to make it to the ballot in November. And, that seems to have more and more reality every single day. But I also know that I think that you want him to stay.
Oh, man. I personally think that Joe Biden's the best candidate for the Democrat Party.
So what do you predict happens when you're back here, when we're having the same conversation a week from now, next Friday? Is it like we're caught in a loop and we're still having the same conversation, or do you think this is the week that maybe something big has to happen?
Well, every day that goes by, it's obvious that it's going to be harder and harder for them to replace Joe. So what I'm thinking is I might have to amend my original statement and say Joe Biden may be a placeholder for Kamala, because if you'll notice, they've been raising her profile so much lately. And I think
how long until after the election or until just before the election?
I'm saying if he stays, if they let him stay every day, I think they're going to keep him in there to try and win it. Mm-hmm. Because if you'll notice the polls right now, Joe's up. Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Joe's beating Trump.
Yeah,
in the polls.
or at least tied.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Which is
suddenly.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and Kamala's even higher,
right?
In many of the polls.
I'm curious
she
what
was
the
always
internals say.
She was always less popular than the president, but now suddenly, when it looks like she might have to step in, all of a sudden, all her poll numbers change. How's that?
I don't know anybody who's changed their mind on Kamala
Nobody.
Harris.
I know, dude. I know,
Nobody.
but it's happening. But I'll be honest with you. I am not as worried about the people involved as I am about the election itself.
Yeah.
I really think that they are going to go no holds barred and cheat like they've never cheated before, because they know that they're going to have to in order to win. I really believe that.
So we talked to America's favorite liberal. Keith Antone.
Oh, yeah.
My
Mhm.
buddy
Mhm.
and yours.
Yes.
On Wednesday of this week, and it was. And I really love having Keith on because I am always searching for that dissenting opinion from guests.
Yeah.
Like I always am looking to bring on Democrats to talk. Nobody wants to.
Yeah, we need that perspective.
So I
yeah.
really like that Keith is very willing to come on, over and over again. He's been a good friend and a regular guest of mine for years on this station and even before. And he's been very critical of Democrats. He's no fan of Cori Bush. He's no fan of Tashar Jones. He's very involved in city politics specifically, and with the Democratic Party, working as a Democratic strategist and consultant. And he's always been a supporter of Joe Biden. And I talked to him on Wednesday for the first time since the debate. And he said he's still sticking with Joe. He said
he's ride or die.
Yeah, he said
with Biden.
He said, Ethan could back me up on this. He said that he said something like, we gotta prop him up, keep him alive, and get him across the finish line, right?
It was
Ethan?
something like that.
Yeah,
Very
they're
close
like,
to that.
we gotta keep him alive and get him across the finish line. He said because A, it's too late to change, and B, he, like I, still believe that he's the best chance they got at winning a national election. That Kamala Harris is too unpopular, Gavin Newsom is too unpopular. That's what do you? So what do you?
So they're gonna weekend at Bernie's this whole thing.
Right. So with
that's what they're gonna do.
So Gabe, with this new information about the $90 million being withheld and those thoughts in mind, what do you? Yeah, the pup. Yeah,
I'm the president.
It's legitimately weekend at Bernie's.
Oh
what
my
do you
God.
think? Do you think maybe because if you want to try to thunder steal,
Yeah.
to borrow a phrase,
Yes.
Ken. If you want to thunder steal from the RNC next week, which we will be live at with our buddy Tim Jones, broadcasting live every day from the RNC next week, you could do it like that. You make a switch. You have Joe Biden step down and put somebody in that spot. All of a sudden, there's nobody talking about the RNC anymore.
That's
so
true.
That
You make national news. It becomes a big conversation.
So what do you think? Does it
for a good week.
happen? Does it happen in the next week? Does it happen at all? Does this $90 million revelation change anything?
I think that $90 million is the first among several donor uprisings that are going to come.
Mhm.
And once those come through, it's almost a guarantee that somebody's going to step in. Because if he's got no money to run, it doesn't matter if he really, really wants to, or how quote unquote powerful he is. All the power is derived from the amount of money that you have, how big of a war chest you have. And if his war chest is diminished to that extent, I'm not sure he continues on.
Right.
They'll probably say he had a stroke and he's got to take time for
they've got to
recover.
That's the one thing that's going to be, I think, very difficult, is sending him off into the sunset with a
minimal
positive
embarrassment
story.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be on board for that. They can force him out, but if they force him out, that's going to be even that's going to create more drama. And so they've got to convince him to get on board with this move and try to send him off into the sunset. And I'm not sure he's ready to do that.
Ken, I think they have to convince Jill.
Oh, and Hunter.
Okay,
And
so
Hunter. Yes,
here's
you're
where we
so
are.
right.
You almost thunderstole.
Thunder Steelers.
Because you two are talking about certain layers, and you're both correct on all of this, but I think we need to add the other layer of Hunter Biden and what he's going to be going through. He needs a president that's going to be able to pardon him, and then he needs Jill, because Jill is all the power. I think Jill's the power. I think Jill's the one that's saying, Joe, listen to me, lift the arm. Okay, Joe, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Sign this.
We've got a lot at stake here.
Yeah.
But
because her ego and her power and her hunger for power is even bigger.
She loves being first lady.
She
loves being in anything. Yeah.
She is the queen of the castle.
Excuse me.
She loves it.
It's Dr. Jill.
Doctor.
That's right.
Dr. First Lady.
But the 90 million is all a part of it. It's part of it's one of those layers. And what you're talking about is the layer. It's all about all these things. That's why it's so unpredictable right now.
So
many layers.
Justin's
It's like the worst parfait ever.
I know.
We had Missouri Rep Justin Sparks on with us yesterday, and we were talking about this exact situation. And he had a brilliant, what he thinks is going to be ultimately what the Democrats do. And I thought, wow, that's a very smart move. because we know that Joe Biden does not want to go.
No.
And we know that Jill Biden doesn't want to go.
No way.
We're hearing all these reports that Hunter Biden is
Scared to death.
calling the shots, that
Yeah.
he's sitting in on meetings
Yeah.
at the White House.
He's
and
basically taking the
he's
chief of staff
making
role.
decisions. Yeah.
Well,
that he-
Karine is denying it.
Well, yeah, but there are plenty of other reports.
what does
saying
that mean?
That Hunter
I know.
That almost
After I
makes
said it, I'm like,
that almost makes
oh,
it more
okay.
true. That makes it almost makes it more
right.
true. So anyway, knowing that Joe doesn't want to go,
Yeah.
knowing that Jill doesn't want to go,
Mhm.
knowing that Hunter is probably getting very comfortable in this new role of power there at the White House,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be hard to convince him to go. Justin Sparks said yesterday, again, I think this is brilliant, that he believes that the Democrats are going to, the old golden parachute idea with a CEO.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Joe, if you step aside, we will make Jill the ambassador to France or
Holy
something like
cow.
that.
Yep.
And we'll promise a pardon for Hunter and a place for Hunter
Mm-hmm.
in the White House on the staff somewhere.
Oh, sure.
So that keeps
He could be the
both-
ambassador to Jamaica.
that keeps the Biden family. There you go.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. He'd probably
Oh,
really-
yeah.
Yeah.
He'd probably like
So
that.
the,
Yeah,
so the
man.
Bidens
Yeah, man.
so the Bidens continue to hold prominent positions,
Mhm.
and he covers his family that way. And by giving him that gift,
Yeah.
he will then acquiesce and step aside. Like
That's it right there.
That
Yeah,
is
you're right.
brilliant.
Yep.
Well, it's
But I don't think people. I don't know. I just feel like if that happens, it's on us to make sure we tell everybody
Yeah.
that deal was made, because that's crap.
I mean,
Devious.
if they don't go, if they really make a pitch a fit about it, and you only kind of have two ways to go about it, right? You got the golden parachute or the airplane with no parachute.
But to do something like that, like you're talking about,
Hillary
you're
Clinton
right.
style. I'm just saying.
that's think about that. But think about it. If they did that, that's throwing the American people under the bus with our
It is.
money,
It is.
with everything.
Oh,
It's
is.
throwing us under the bus.
It is, especially the Hunter Biden part, like
Mhm.
giving,
Big
like
time.
just covering for all the criminal activity.
Yep.
Yeah.
And giving them, but that keeps Jill Biden very important.
Oh yes,
She still gets her own little castle.
she
her
still
own-
gets to talk in front of the big microphones with
Yeah.
all the cameras on her
Yeah.
and all the lights
Yep,
and all the
she
people
still gets to
cheering.
be Dr. Flotus.
Si c'est pas droit.
What I want everybody to
See,
See, say
Podway.
Podway. what I want everybody to pay attention to, though, once Joe Biden is gone, how fast he's going to decline.
Oh yes,
because
absolutely.
once he's off the required, stay focused, Joe.
Yeah.
They're gonna let him go.
Once he's
Oh, yeah.
allowed to relax.
He's
Oh, yeah.
gonna be done.
Oh yeah,
You watch.
and they stop shooting him up with
Yes,
uppers.
sir.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
my
he's
goodness.
his decline is going to be precipitous.
It is.
That should be a felony in and of itself.
Mhm.
Yep. And we will be here to cover every moment of
That's
that.
right.
decline.
Yeah, we will.
Yes.
right
With the
here.
whole morbid ordeal.
Yep.
Of course, you can hear Gabe Pfeiffer every morning on Mike Ferguson in the morning, starting at 5:30, and you can hear Ken Williams every day starting at 9 a.m. on the Vic Porcelli Show. Gabe is sticking around; he's my co-host this afternoon. Ken, thank you so much as always.
Hey guys, have a great weekend.
You have a great weekend as well, my
Yes, sir.
friend, and we'll get right back to it on Monday, and we'll see what next week's madness brings.
Well, anyway.
Yeah. look, I don't want to. Look, I don't want to.
Not a joke.
Not a joke. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Stop it. All right. We need to get the weekend forecast. Channel 4 meteorologist Kent Earhart is going to join us next to tell us what to expect this weekend weather-wise. You're listening to 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Man, he and his dog let walk the old man.
Follow Tony Colombo on Twitter at Tony Colombo Talk.
Flower does his cold hand as he slowly walked by, weeping willow cry.
Danny Define here, host of the all-new show, The Next Gen, with me, Danny Define. We're going to cover all the hard-hitting topics on this show, from national headlines to things happening right here in St. Louis.
Next Gen with Danny Define, Sunday nights at 8.
Right here on News Talk STL.
I mentioned that Susie Moore from Red State is going to be with me on Monday again. And also joining us on Monday once again will be Mike McCleary from Intervine, who is our sort of tech AI expert here on the show, but also the owner and founder of Intervine, a local family-owned company that makes the best flashlights, lanterns, and headlamps available They have customers all over the country. This little St. Louis company started by one man and his family, just an incredible success story because they sell so many products online and on Amazon and things like that. Intervine's products are literally being used all over the country and all over the world. They have great new products, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Everything from a small flashlight that you can just keep in your glove box in your vehicle to some very large and heavy duty lanterns, headlamps, flashlights for outdoors people and people that do enjoy camping and hiking and things like that, or just having a trustworthy light source at your home, especially this time of year when we've seen so much severe weather. You know the importance of that. They have it all and more at Intervine. And right now you can take advantage of 25% off just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code at intervine.com. You can use it as many times as you want. You can use it for there's nothing that's off limits. The entire order, as many times you want while this promo is happening. You can get 25% off your entire order at Intervine just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. Not only do they have all of the best flashlights, lanterns, and headlamps, Intervine has batteries in all different sizes, from AA, AAA, all the regular sizes. So if nothing else, use that promo code to stock up on batteries now, because especially if you have kids, you know, you can never have too many batteries on hand. So again, all you have to do is use my name, Tony, as your promo code at intervine.com, INTERVINE, intervine.com.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Steve Templeton's Weekend Forecast, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com.
Welcome back to Colombo and Katie on 119.94.1 News Talk STL. I did it again. Colombo and Katie. Colombo and Company. Colombo and question mark. Whatever you want to call the show.
It's a reflex.
Yes.
You can't help it.
It is Friday afternoon, which means it is time to check in with the folks at Channel 4, the weather team there, to get the weekend forecast. Kent Earhart, you can count on Kent, joins us now to give us the update over the next few days. Kent, thanks so much for your time this afternoon. And, it's been a busy time in politics and in news radio, all the things that we talk about here, but we've also had quite a bit of weather rolling through. There's been a lot of news being made just by the weather as well. So I know you guys have had your hands full. How's it looking for the next few days? Are we through sort of all that severe stuff, or is there more to come?
Well, I don't expect any hail. I don't expect any tornadoes.
Okay.
We'll see maybe a spot shower or a thunderstorm, but really the focus is definitely on the heat right now as it ramps up in a big way. We're going to be probably low 90s tomorrow, maybe it's as hot as the mid 90s in some spots, and you'll see an isolated shower or thunderstorm. That heat index tomorrow is going to surpass 100. Wow. And then on Sunday, we'll be in the upper 90s, and I think the heat index will surpass 105. So we've declared first alert weather days at Channel 4 for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I would say that anyone that has chronic health problems, the very young, the elderly should probably watch their exposure outside because the air quality is becoming an issue as well. The forecast for today was orange, and we hit orange, and the forecast for tomorrow is orange as well. So you've got air quality issues, you've got heat issues. Now, if you're wanting to get in the pool, it's perfect.
Right.
If you want to do lawn work, or put on a
or
new
pour
roof,
cement,
or, change the oil in your car. I would not suggested. It's really going to be a hot weekend, and that heat carries us probably to about the middle of next week before it starts to break and we get back into some more rain chances.
Yeah, and did you say there is a chance for maybe a spot shower this weekend, or is it pretty much just
Yeah,
hot?
I think a better chance on Saturday.
Okay.
And obviously that can break the heat a little bit. It only adds to the humidity, so I think it's kind of a wash. But there'll be a few hit and miss showers here and there. Should be pretty brief. We don't expect anything too serious, but let's keep an eye out for that. And again, it should be fairly isolated and not be a long-term problem if you do run into any rain.
Gotcha.
So
And then-
indoor work only.
Yeah, indoor. Yeah, indoor or in water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Stay inside or stay in the pool. And then, Ken, just
Right.
looking back at all the rainfall that we had from the remnants of the hurricane, just any recap
Yeah.
on, how much water we took in our area, and then also the lasting impact. I have an outdoor show on Saturdays, and we recorded that show last night, and we talked to some of the fishermen in the area about just how high the rivers are and some of these other bodies of
Right.
water are. What's some of that impact?
Yeah, the flooding's been generally minor, but it's been fairly widespread. Both the major rivers from rain that they had up north, you're talking Missouri, Mississippi, Illinois, things like that, are seeing some generally minor flooding. And of course, the local rivers were all up, the Big and Burbus and Merrimack and such. They're receding now. They will continue to recede. We are right now on track for the second wettest July on record.
Wow.
There will be some more rain, but those tropical systems are very efficient rainmakers, and they really put a hurting on us.
And then just looking forward, you said that Monday is another first alert day as far as the heat is concerned.
Correct. And Tuesday.
And
yeah,
Tuesday.
because of the heat.
Yeah.
And then I think a pretty good chance for rain some Wednesday and into Thursday of next week. It looks like some pretty good rain and clouds and cooler temperatures.
Well, that'll be a nice break. But in the meantime, the big headline, the big takeaway is to be safe. Check on those people in your life that may be compromised by the heat and stay inside or stay in the pool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really appreciate
That's
it,
what I'm
Ken.
saying.
Yeah, thank you so
You
much.
betcha.
Yeah, really appreciate the heads up and all the inside information you guys provide our listeners every day of the week here to keep us safe and informed on what's happening out there in the weather. Have a great weekend yourself, my friend.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Take care.
Back at you. Great stuff there from Channel 4 meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Yeah, drink your water, people.
Yeah, it's
Seriously.
hot.
Yeah.
Heat index is, he said, 105 plus.
Yeah.
Could be, that could get to 110
That's
even maybe
so
on
crazy.
On Sunday.
I guess I'm gonna have to mow my lawn tonight.
You know what? My lawn is dead.
Oh no.
Well, actually, the rain has kind of brought it back
A little bit.
But
Okay.
before the hurricane came through, it was so dry and
Dust
so
bowl-
hot.
Dust bowl conditions.
Yeah, like I haven't had to cut the grass for a couple weeks because
There was no grass.
It was just wasn't growing.
Oh
It's
no.
just kind of yellow.
Oh,
and you
my
know
gosh.
what?
Mhm.
It's okay with me.
It's okay.
It's just fine.
See, I've reached the stage of old man where lawn care is very, very important. So I've got my sprinklers going, and I'm checking on my edging.
See, I don't do that. I don't do the spring. I did grow a lot of. We inherited a terrible lawn from the people that owned the house before. I don't know what they were doing in the backyard or even in the front yard.
Mhm.
We had a lot of really large patches where there was no grass. And I've done a really good job, pat myself on the back, of growing grass. And it's all there,
Mhm.
but it's not, I don't water it to keep up with it. I used to hate cutting the grass. Now
Yeah.
I love cutting the grass. It's like the time that I catch up on podcasts and
Oh
all
yeah,
that stuff.
A little cathartic too. You're just
But
kind of
not when it's 100
mindlessly going.
But not
through.
when it's 100 degrees.
No. Oh my gosh.
Not when
no.
it's 100 degrees.
No. Yeah.
So if the grass wants to die a little bit or
You're
kind of
okay-
go into,
you're okay with that?
Yes, I am okay with that.
Okay.
I will allow that to happen, and we'll take a little break from cutting the grass.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, it sounds like most importantly, just to be safe out there this weekend, be mindful of that heat, and check on the anybody in your life that might have some compromises when it comes to sensitivity to the weather like that.
If you
And
know
just take
anybody
care
who
of yourself.
doesn't have air conditioning,
Go to the
just
pool.
just go help them out.
Yeah, go
Honestly.
buy them an air conditioner.
Buy them. Honestly, they're like $100
Go get
for a
unit
window
or one
unit.
of those. Yeah, one of those ones that you could just prop up in the corner. And
I think at Menards you can get it for like
help 'em
$80.
out. Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
Just do it.
That's Gabe Pfeiffer from Mike Ferguson in the morning. He is sticking around. He is my co-host this afternoon. And as I mentioned, there's an article out, 5 takeaways from Biden's comeback press conference. Want to go over that with you. And we have news about another deep blue state possibly being in play for Donald Trump in November. We'll fill you in on that as well. Don't go anywhere. Listening to 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Liberal mega donors are always looking for new rhinos to do their bidding. And with Adam Schnelting, they found their new star. Adam Schnelting has already backed their radical plan to defund our police. And he skipped countless important conservative votes. Skipped a vote to protect kids from sexually explicit materials in school. And skipped a vote to protect churches from junk lawsuits. It's no wonder Adam Schnelting is bankrolled by Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden's top funders. Bill Cristofanelli is the only leader we can trust to protect our conservative priorities. When radicals tried to defund the police, Bill Cristofanelli passed record funding from Missouri's law enforcement. When Joe Biden left our southern border wide open, conservative Bill Cristofanelli banned sanctuary cities and voted to send Missouri National Guard troops to secure the border. Vote Bill Cristofanelli, the proven conservative, for state senate.
Gladius PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Gladius PAC, and is not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Hello, fans of the paranormal. I'm Frankie, host of the newest show on News Talk STL on a Garage, and we'll be discussing everything paranormal, from ghosts, demons, hauntings, and aliens to Skinwalker, Bigfoot, fairies, and the Chupacabra. Every Saturday night between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., me and Jeremy will discuss mysterious events in St. Louis and surrounding areas, including gateway families and unsolved true crimes. That's right. It's all right here exclusively on News Talk STL from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Saturday night.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Gene Evans, former state representative, former executive director of the Missouri Republican Party.
The National Party and the state party have had school choice in their platform, parent empowerment. Donald Trump's agenda, and he's mentioned it several times lately, he talked about it a lot when he was president, is school choice. A state that 100% backs Trump is not going to take a major piece of agenda out of their platform. They're just not.
Weekday mornings, 5:30 to 9 on News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Biden's cognitive decline has prompted Republicans in Congress to urge Vice President Kamala Harris to consider invoking the 25th Amendment to remove Biden from office. On the Salem Media Group news program, This Week on the Hill with Tony Perkins, House Speaker Mike Johnson says reporters keep asking him one question.
If you were in the cabinet, if you were serving in the Biden cabinet, would you, in good conscience, be thinking about invoking the 25th Amendment? And I answered instantly and honestly, of course I would, because I see what everybody sees. And then it doesn't believe anybody in that cabinet is going to do the same thing, but they asked me what I would do, and that was my answer.
Speaker Johnson's full interview will be broadcast on This Week on the Hill starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Saturday on the Salem News Channel. Also at townhall.com, Vermont residents are cleaning up. Remnants of Hurricane Beryl dumped heavy rain on Vermont on Wednesday and Thursday and caused more flooding. Governor Phil Scott.
From road and bridge washouts to homes destroyed, the damage is significant. But as I visited towns yesterday and spoke with people, I was reminded of how resilient Vermonters really are. Even in the face of devastation, I saw many community members come together, doing what they can for their neighbors to help them get through this.
At least 2 people died in Vermont. That's when their vehicles were swept away by floodwaters. One utility company executive warning that about 500,000 Houston area homes and businesses will still not have electricity into next week as the wide outages from Hurricane Beryl just drag on. Stocks finishing sharply higher. The Dow was up 247 points, the Nasdaq adding 115. More at townhall.com.
See, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. And maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But It's also true people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The member satisfaction rate for Medishare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medishare works too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. See what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE, 844.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Definitely a warm evening out there as temperatures drop through the 80s. Isolated showers possible, but not really likely. Should stay pretty dry with partly cloudy skies. It's a hot weekend. Saturday's high in the mid-90s. The heat index near or over 100. And by Sunday, we're going to be in the upper 90s, about 97, 98 degrees. And that heat index is going to be getting very close to 105. That's pretty dangerous heat. Air quality is an issue as well. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Fox News commentary.
The daughter of celebrity couple Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner demands mask mandates be reinstated in LA hospitals. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Hi, I'm Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. Financial advisors, let's face it, if you're not growing your practice, you're losing market share. Stifel is a growing, entrepreneurial, advisor-centric firm built for successful advisors like you. There's a reason why 148 financial advisors joined Stifel last year. Come join us and find out why Stifel is the firm where success meets success. Visit www.choosestifel.com.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Most of us, COVID hysteria has been over for years, but apparently that's not true behind the gates of the Hollywood Hills. Violet, the daughter of celebrity couple Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, is still committed to face masking and demands the little people in LA County be forced to as well. In a masked speech in front of the LA County Board of Supervisors, she insisted masking be mandated at hospitals and said any mask mandate bans should be fully rejected. She thinks that because she contracted a post-viral condition, everyone else should face diaper up to appease her wishes. Violet Affleck is free to wear a mask until she's blue in the face. That's her right and her prerogative. But how dare she try to force that godforsaken and worthless mandate on anyone else? Celebrity child or not, LA County doesn't take orders from you, Violet. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Colombo and Katie, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL.
Look around your world, pretty baby. Is it everything you hoped it'd be? The wrong guy, the wrong situation, the right town.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9 News Talk STL.
You
Gabe
got it.
Pfeiffer. Yeah. And then we'll change the name again.
Yes.
As soon as I stop saying Colombo and Katie, we'll do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe Pfeiffer from the morning show, my co-host today. A lot going on in that 2 o'clock hour. If you missed any of it, great update on the weather. Got the weekend forecast from Kent Earhart, meteorologist over at Channel 4. Basically, it's just going to be really hot this weekend, like really hot.
Yeah, surface of the sun. Kind of
And he said in poor air quality. So
Yeah.
that's a bad combination for
Mhm.
people that are older or are very young or
Mhm.
have any kind of sensitivities there. So stay cool, stay in the air conditioning or stay in the pool, and be safe this weekend because it's going to be hot.
I'm sure there are going to be cooling centers open too.
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
So check those out if you need them.
Also delved into a lot of the news of the day, including this new announcement that over $90 million of campaign donations are now being withheld by major Democratic donors.
Like being held hostage.
Yeah, saying that they will not release those millions of dollars until Joe Biden steps away. We covered all that Gabe and I, along with Ken Williams from the Vic Porcelli Show. So if you missed any of that conversation, I just want to make sure you never miss anything that happens here on the show. Make sure you are subscribed to the Colombo and Katie, and I mean it this time because that's still the name of the podcast files, Colombo and Katie. We'll change that at some point, but it'll always still be in those same exact locations that they are. Make sure you subscribe to the Colombo and Katie podcast on your favorite podcast platform. We put this show out as a podcast right after we get off the air every day on all the major and basically all the podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, and many, many more. And it's the best way to just make sure that you never miss anything that happens here on the show. So make sure you're subscribed to the Colombo and Katie podcast. All right. 5 takeaways from Joe Biden's comeback press conference.
Now, is comeback in quotes?
It should be.
Okay.
Because I don't think there was much of a comeback made.
No.
5 big takeaways from Biden's press conference yesterday. Number 1, Biden struggled with names.
Okay.
Even
As a
for his
takeaway.
own vice president, after calling Zelensky Putin earlier in the day, he said during the press conference yesterday, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump if I didn't think she was qualified to be president. So, yes, he continues to struggle with names and just information in general. Takeaway number 2, Biden had a list of reporters to call on. And we touched on this earlier in the show, Gabe, but I think that this was a wake-up call to the mass public that this is how this president has been operating for quite some time. That not only does he, and we've seen the pictures, the press pictures have captured the note cards that he's holding.
Oh, yeah.
The notes
zoomed
that he's
in.
holding. That will literally say, you call on this person. Their picture.
Little picture, yeah.
Their picture.
So
will
he
be
knows
there.
where to look
And it'll say,
who to point to.
It'll say, question 1, call on Gabe Pfeiffer from News Talk STL, and your picture will be there. And in many cases, we've seen that the question that they're going to ask is there. So not only are they scripting who he'll talk to and won't talk to, but in many cases, he knows what they're going to ask.
Yeah.
That is the complete opposite of a free and fair press.
The press is supposed to be somewhat adversarial.
Yes.
You've heard this discussion,
Yes.
from true journalists, or at least people who went to J school, and they were taught the traditional idea that regardless of who is in the Oval Office, it is because of the nature of the push and pull of government versus the press. The press needs to necessarily be a little bit antagonistic to the office, because you've got to press, you've got to push, you got to make them a little bit uncomfortable in your pursuit of truth, in spite of whatever forces may be wanting them to conceal things or to misrepresent things in order to make themselves look good. So, but what you have for the longest time now is a press that is dyed in the wool and in the pocket of whatever Democratic administration happens to be there, and completely antagonistic to whatever Republican administration is in. So this is in addition. So the now that you have the lists of people, the list of individuals with names and the questions, this is in addition to the already the pre-existent notion that the journalists are going to have give some
back.
They're going to have his back. They're going to give some
cover
deference
him.
to him.
Yep. You're exactly right. And remember, we were all told that it was Donald Trump that was trying to
destroy
the press's ability to
Yes.
ask questions. And it was Donald Trump that was trying to suppress the media and all of that.
Remember-
when it's truly been, and now, as this takeaway points out, it's on public display just how manipulative the Biden administration and the Democrats are with the media.
Remember the 2016 campaign where it was talking about wanting to bring back transparency?
Yeah,
to
most
the
transparent
most transparent administration ever.
Yeah,
right.
That's Joe Biden said that this would be that they campaigned on it. This
Yeah.
would be the most transparent administration in American history,
Mhm.
and it has been wildly the opposite.
One of the most
So
opaque,
completely
absolutely.
the opposite.
They have done very, very few press conferences like these.
And they have lied.
They've lied when they have them.
Over and over
Mhm.
and over again every day. Every day when you watch the press briefing and you listen to Karine Jean-Pierre,
Oh, yeah.
she lies every day.
Yes. Yes. Like
That is
blatantly
not
so.
transparency.
It's not even a misinterpretation or anything like that. It's just blatant.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of people didn't realize just how scripted that was. I did a story earlier this week. He was talking to a union group earlier this week, and he said he gave some quick remarks and then people started to try to ask him some questions, and the president said, I've been told that I can't spend much time with you guys today in terms of talking, so
Yeah.
I won't be able to take any questions. Like,
Does that sound like the leader of the free world?
Yeah.
Being told to do
the
stuff.
leader, exactly right. I've been told that I can't talk with you,
Right.
which means I don't have any of my notes. I don't have any, none of you have been prepped to be scripted, so I can't stay here and talk. He said that he has said many times
Yes.
over the last couple
They
of years.
tell me to ask two
They tell me to
questions.
ask this. And or how about I'm going to get in trouble?
Yes. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for yes, absolutely.
The leader, the most powerful person in the world, the leader of the United States, the commander-in-chief of the biggest, baddest military that God ever made is going to get in trouble
Right.
for taking questions?
So crazy. Who's in charge? Who's actually in charge is the question.
Jill Biden.
I think so too.
Jill Biden. Jill Biden is in charge of the White House, and Joe Biden, Barack, and Michelle Obama are in charge of the Democratic Party.
And the deep state.
Yeah, but Jill and Joe and the Bidens are not ready to give up control of the White House.
No,
they are the
they're
one.
not
They
done
will
being
push back on
in
the
the face of it.
on the Obamas, I think, when they disagree with him. Like when
That's true.
Barack says, "Hey, Joe, you need to step aside." He doesn't. They don't go along with that. But don't underestimate the Obamas' power in the Democratic Party.
They're still in it.
It's still tremendous.
They're still in the mix.
But I do think that Jill Biden is the one calling the shots at the White House, and apparently Hunter Biden, from what we've learned this week.
He's stepping up.
Takeaway number 3, Biden's camp is touting him as a policy expert. I can't believe this. During and after the press conference, Biden's immediate team and wider ecosystem of allies were quick to tout the event as an overwhelming success. Did you feel like yesterday's press conference was an overwhelming success?
I did not.
Many claimed that the president's answers regarding foreign policy issues showed him to have an expertise in international affairs.
Oh yeah, he's got.
I didn't see an expertise in anything.
Tremendous command of the issues. Rachel Maddow was gushing all over it.
Oh my gosh! Like the mainstream media had started to become sort of. They had been forced into reality this week.
Yes,
in calling him out on certain things, but I guess they've just fell right back into old habits because anybody that's trying to cover for that is unbelievable.
Yeah, they might have had a talking to after they exposed the gaslighting.
Takeaway number 4, Republicans are calling it another disaster. The press conference was panned as a disaster on social media by conservatives who criticized the president for a performance they say featured Biden stumbling through answers they say. That's what happened.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Stumbling through answers to reporters' questions about foreign policy and the 2024 presidential race. Many cracked jokes about the president's multiple mix-ups, including Donald Trump himself, who posted on Truth Social, quote, Crooked Joe begins his big boy press conference with, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president if I didn't think she was qualified to be president. Great job, Joe. And then takeaway number 5, Democrats are still divided on whether Biden needs to step down. Former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that during that Democrats in Congress and supporters of the president want to see leadership in the effort to defeat Trump in November, but cannot decide how to proceed. Jen Psaki said yesterday, nobody knows the path forward, which is true, I think, and just a disaster for Democrats in general. Kind of leads me to this too. So I had some stories that I didn't get to this week, but I'm just going to read you some of these headlines to show you how the week sort of unfolded, because here's a story that I had a story that I didn't get to from Wednesday's show.
Okay.
Representative Mickey Sherrill, Democrat, New Jersey, is the latest Democrat lawmaker calling on President Biden to drop out of the race. Sherrill is now the 7th Democrat lawmaker who has publicly called on President Biden to drop out.
Okay.
Then yesterday, a story I didn't get to that I have printed right here. Representative Hillary Scholten becomes the 11th Democrat
Wait a minute.
to call on Biden to step aside.
Wait, we went from 7 to 11?
Yeah, 7 on Wednesday, 11 yesterday, and then today, right before the show, I read an NBC headline that says that the number of Democrats now publicly calling on Joe Biden to step down, according to this NBC headline, is nearly 20.
Okay.
So they are jumping off the ship.
Exponential growth. Okay. as the rats leave the sinking ship.
Yeah, they are literally jumping off the ship.
Mhm.
And then I mentioned this a minute ago, and Gabe and I were just talking about this a little bit off the air. A former governor believes Trump has a real opportunity to win another deep blue state in November. And this time we're talking about the state of New York.
And that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That just the concept that we're even having a conversation about that.
If even if he doesn't win New York, like you said, just the fact that we're talking about the chance.
That's wild.
Former New York Governor George Pataki argued the Empire State is up for grabs this November, warning Democratic voters are coming to terms with the fact that Biden is, quote, screwing up royally as he flounders in the polls. The former governor said, quote, "It's been a long time since anybody asked me if New York is a battleground state, but this year I'm getting that asked a lot, and I think it's because it is."
Oh my gosh.
And for that to happen, you need a number of different things. You need Democratic voters, 1 million Democratic voters, to look at their party, look at their candidates and say, we're screwing up royally. And you have that. And you have chaos at the top of the Democratic ticket. This is in addition now to again, just the idea, the possibility, the fact that Donald Trump would maybe be in striking distance in New York, which is
that's
so
crazy.
Something like 30 or 33, some massive number, 28, something like that, number of electoral votes. Just the fact that Trump's in striking distance. And that's added on to, we've done stories recently on the show about New Jersey. You know, there's been the same conversation in that New Jersey could turn red, which is a crazy, which is something nobody would have considered, just a few years ago. And even Minnesota, which wasn't even one. Minnesota is the only state that Ronald Reagan didn't win in 1984 in his massive landslide where he won 49 states over Walter Mondale. Minnesota was the one blue state. It hasn't been red since Nixon.
Oh my gosh.
And there's been stories about how Minnesota could be in striking distance. I mean, the fact that there's even stories about Minnesota, New Jersey, and now New York being a possibility for Donald Trump to win really highlights just how much of the vote, of the support that Joe Biden has lost around the country.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it is just
I'm trying.
incredible.
I'm trying to find what the gap was in New York in 2016. How
2020
big, or I'm sorry. Why am I looking at 2016? In 2020. See, I'm probably wishing for 2016.
You know what? That's a great question. New
Yeah.
York 2020 presidential results.
Yeah, because
got
we're talking. I don't have it.
Here, I
You're
think
probably closer than I am to it right now.
Yeah.
But you got to think it was easily double digits, right?
He got 60. Joe Biden got 61% of the vote. Trump got just under 38% of the vote.
Oh wow, that's a huge margin.
Yeah, huge margin.
Huge margin.
61 to 37, essentially. 61% to 37%, essentially. Yeah.
So to make up that much,
to
make up that much ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be so crazy.
Yeah.
Now,
it's more. I mean, Donald Trump definitely has supporters in New York. He has supporters everywhere.
Oh, especially in New York. I mean, New York is
more
his
about
hometown.
right, but this is more about Joe Biden losing support than it is Donald Trump gaining.
I wonder how much of it is due to the massive impact of illegal immigration on New York.
Oh,
and as well as inflation, because inflation has hit the blue states particularly bad. So I just caught on I don't know what this podcast is, but I just caught a picture, I guess, that was going around Twitter of a meal, a barbecue meal in New York. And it was very simple plate. It had a little bit of pulled pork or something like that. A couple sides. It actually for a barbecue place, it looked really sparse. And the text of the tweet said, "This is $165 worth of barbecue in New York." $165 for a sparse, sad-looking plate of barbecue.
Wow.
So I imagine that inflation and the impacts of immigration have hit places like New York particularly hard. And I'm wondering if the big population centers where they are ground zero for these things may be having a little bit of consternation with the Democrats who are in charge right now.
Yeah, and then you see all these problems that you're having with immigration and crime.
Oh, crime also, yes.
And education. And then you look for the leadership. You look to who's going to solve these problems for us, and you look at a man that doesn't even know who his own vice president is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or know like his family history, like when and where his son passed away. Like, so when you're talking about somebody who's like, when your living conditions are worsening by the day, and you need somebody to help you, and you want to look to elected officials, public servants whose job it is to do that, and you're looking at a man who can't even think.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm out.
You're
right?
not voting for that person.
Yeah.
You might not be voting for Donald Trump, but you're not voting for Joe Biden either.
Right.
You're either sitting on your hands.
It's like, I can't bring
and
myself to vote for this guy.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Which is how he won, which is how in my opinion, that's how Donald Trump won in 2016.
Oh, yeah, against Hillary Clinton,
yeah.
because people would not vote for her. They're like, I can't do it.
Barack Obama inspired people to get out and vote that otherwise wouldn't.
True.
He was wildly popular.
Yes.
And people wanted to be a part of that.
They want to be a part of the history.
Support
yes.
Barack Obama because they liked him. In 2016, it wasn't like Donald Trump turned a bunch of Democrat or Barack Obama voters into Donald Trump voters.
Right.
It was just that Hillary Clinton did not inspire people like Barack Obama did.
In spite of the historic, possibility of her presidency, which is so fascinating.
Wildly unlikable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really fascinating.
And they just didn't turn out. They just didn't come out for her. They didn't switch sides.
No.
They just weren't motivated to go out of their way to vote like they did for Barack Obama, and that's how he won. And that's what's happening with this. And times 100.
Yeah.
People are just
demoralized.
Yeah. They're not necessarily switching sides. They just know that they can't be a part of this disaster of a Joe Biden presidency.
Yeah. I mean, what's interesting is, Republicans can't necessarily demoralize potential Democrat voters, but the Democratic candidate can. And that's what's happening right now. The Democratic candidate is demoralizing their own voters.
Well, it's been a demoralizing week for the Democrats and the Democratic voters.
Yeah.
And we have had a very busy week here on News Talk STL and on this show, Colombo and Company, this week, for now, at least. So let's lighten the mood a little bit as we get ready to start the weekend. Let's send you off into the weekend with a smile on your face and do a little Friday fun time. Next, here on Colombo and Company on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Look into your heart, pretty baby. Is it aching with some nameless need? Is there something wrong and you can't put your
Follow
finger
Tony
on
Colombo on
it?
Twitter at Tony Colombo Talk.
And I don't think I have
News, analysis,
I'm glad you're talking about this.
opinion.
I'm glad you're fired up about it too, because I know I am.
News Talk STL.
If you need any guidance financially in this crazy world, whether it be with your personal family finances or your business finances, there is one team that stands above the rest, and that is the team at Cadre Asset Management and their president, David Ryan, who you have heard on the show many times. He is our go-to economic financial expert here on the show. David Ryan is somebody that I trust when I'm talking about our family's financial future. We've been working with And I've been friends with David Ryan for years. I feel a little bit better about the future every time I talk to him. I have a more understanding of what's happening with not only, our personal finances, but just the understanding what's happening in the world every time we talk to David Ryan. A cadre is defined as a small group of people specially trained for a particular purpose or profession. And that is exactly the role that David Ryan and his team at Cadre Asset Management can play in your financial journey across the board, whether it be financial planning, estate planning, retirement, investments, business financing. David Ryan and his team at Cadre do it all. Learn more about how they can help secure your financial future by following Cadre Asset Management on Facebook or go to their website, cadreassetmgmt.com.
Are you a small business owner looking to boost your brand? Blue Ocean Media Group offers affordable video production that packs a punch. From social media content to branded promotional clips, we'll help you stand out in the digital crowd. Professional quality, small business prices. Let's tell your story together. Learn more at blueomg.com. That's blueomg.com. Blue Ocean Media, big impact videos for small business budgets.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want Joe Biden to stay in the presidential race. Wait. Conservatives, you don't get to vote. Only the leftists. So again, to be specific, how many in the Democrat Party want Joe Biden to stay in the race? Raise your hand. Not so many, huh? It wasn't too long ago that some were sure Biden would be untouchable, despite all the damage he's done to our nation. 12 to 15 million illegals, the child and drug trafficking, Bidenomics, worshiping at the green altar. Supposedly, he was still good to go until it became apparent he wasn't good to go, but he had to go. Then Democrats started turning on him. Hollywood elites like George Clooney basically saying, Biden isn't worth my money. Other Democrats still swaying in the wind. But there is one Democrat who hasn't said anything publicly, and yet many are sure this one Democrat is behind all the rattling to dump Joe Biden. Senator Schumer? No, good guess, but wrong. The one Democrat not saying anything to be quoted so far, and yet all the signs, and some are pointing to Barack Obama.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
You want to give someone something which they will really enjoy? Give them a Cafe Napoli gift card. You pick the amount. They pick which of the Cafe Napolis they want to visit. Cafe Napoli in Clayton, Cafe Napoli in Town and Country, Napoli 3 on the streets of St. Charles, or right next door, Napoli C. The Napoli gift card. It's the perfect gift for anyone or your entire office. Cafe Napoli. Cafe Napoli. John Beal knows that right after a hailstorm, new roofing companies start popping up everywhere. But the Small Business Administration reports 96% of them go out of business within the first 5 years. So how good is that warranty? John Beal started in the roofing business, helping his granddad and his dad. Always offering the best roof, best price, best guarantee. John Beal Roofing, not some fly-by-the-night operation. Call my friend John, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. I want you to know that McGuire Moving and Storage is silver certified, which means McGuire has a quality reputation helping older adults move local or long distance. And something else to know, Josh McGuire, president of McGuire Moving and Storage, is the only certified moving consultant in Missouri. I'll tell you, once you met Josh, you're going to know your move will be easy. And I fully endorse McGuire Moving and Storage. McGuireMoving.com.
On the next
Larry Connors USA.
New York Times editorial board says one of those running for the White House is not fit to be president. Oh, you know, they're talking about Trump.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. Gabe Pfeiffer from Mike Ferguson in the morning, my co-host today. After the weekend, when we get back on Monday, Susie Moore from Red State will be with me again on Monday and Tuesday of next week. Also, producer Ethan is in studio with us. Also, producer Emily. Thanks to all of you for all of your help.
Oh, absolutely.
As we make this transition from Colombo and Katie to Colombo and whatever the future holds for all of us. Every Friday about this time, we like to bring you a little Friday fun time, hopefully to send you off into the weekend with a smile on your face. Look at some of the more silly stories of the day out there, including this one. Ethan and Emily, you guys might be a little bit young for Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Do you know that movie? Are you familiar with it?
I have seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, Emily, you saw it. You've seen it too. It is a classic. Did you grow up with Ferris Bueller's Day Off like I did?
Absolutely.
Like it was huge.
It was on
right?
TV every other
I'm a
day.
huge Matthew Broderick fan too.
Yes.
Like everything from Glory to Ferris Bueller's
yes.
Day
Oh,
Off.
yeah.
The
like,
Lion King.
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. That's right. He was a
Exactly.
young Simba.
Yes.
Or
big
older
fan.
Simba.
Well, this story that really just happened is very reminiscent of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This is the stupid criminal of the day.
Oh no.
Segment of our show. A
I love these
dealership in Connecticut
Mm-hmm.
is in a world of hurt this week after a couple of employees took a rare 2018 Chevy Camaro out for a joyride.
Oh boy.
And totaled it.
Oh, they totaled it.
The Camaro was dropped off for some service at this dealership. It had only 989 miles total on the engine.
Mm-hmm.
The owner took it to the dealership for some kind of service and gave explicit instructions that the car was not to leave the lot. That didn't happen.
Oh no.
A service advisor and another employee took the car out for a joyride, floored it to nearly 90 miles an hour, lost control, and crashed it into a guardrail. The car had been appraised at nearly $100,000.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it was
and is a complete loss.
Okay, so it was one of those high-end versions of that Camaro.
I don't know. It doesn't say what. Yeah, it doesn't say what makes it rare, but I guess it was maybe some kind of custom.
Yeah.
One of a kind.
Oh my god.
2018 Chevy Camaros.
Yeah. Well, if it costs as much as a house on the east side, then that's kind of a big deal.
$97,000 is what it was appraised at.
Oh my god.
And it was completely totaled. I always thought that was a thing in the movies.
Right, taking a car for a joyride.
Taking the car for a joyride. In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, it's the valet parking. Yeah, it's the parking garage people, but not the service department. But
yeah.
I would just think that's not real. That doesn't happen. But apparently it does.
Obviously it does. Well, at least they weren't trying to roll back the
maybe they were going to. Maybe they were going to when it got back.
And they lost control of it.
Maybe they just didn't. Yeah, maybe they just were never given the opportunity to do that because
Ferris Bueller was a how-to guide.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Do any of you bug people?
I won't touch them.
Right?
I won't touch them.
No.
Bug how?
I have some pictures with cicadas.
Do you
on my
like
tongue.
bugs?
I ordered
Oh,
crickets
no.
for dinner the other day at this little Mexican restaurant across from my high school.
Okay, you're very much a bug person.
I was
Yeah,
curious.
yeah.
I'll do anything. I'll try anything once.
Oh my gosh. Nope.
I don't
Nope,
like
nope.
so.
I don't like the little ones that you can't see. The big ones don't freak me out.
Okay, well, I don't like any of them.
I'm okay with two kinds of bugs basically. You got the fireflies. I will catch those in my hand.
Yeah.
And then ladybugs.
Ladybugs.
Because they're just cute. They're
Yeah.
like they don't even count as bugs.
And they're
like
good
just-
luck.
And they're good luck. Yeah, exactly. Every other creature can die.
If you
like
catch
flames, that's where I am with those.
if a ladybug gets on our house,
Mhm.
and if I were to try to swat it or kill it and not catch it and put it outside, there will be tears.
Oh gosh. Yeah, how could you do that?
That's how important ladybugs are. I don't. But if I did, that's how important
They're
they
Disney
are.
characters. You can't.
But
do this.
okay, those two aside,
Yes.
I don't even know how this got to be a viral conversation,
Mhm.
but there is a survey that has gone viral online asking people about their they listed 20 different insects and asked for people's reaction to them, whether it be positive, negative, or neutral.
Okay.
Number one most hated insect. Got a guess?
Number
It's
one-
not a surprise if you think about it.
Number one most hated?
Most hated insect, number one.
I would think the cockroach.
That's number two. Great guess.
Wait, is a mosquito an insect?
Number one.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Mosquitoes,
Okay.
number one.
Mosquitoes.
Followed
That
by
makes sense.
cockroaches, second. Then wasps, ants, cicadas, even though Emily likes to eat them. Spiders.
I'm surprised spiders are so low on the
I'm
list.
shocked that we're not counting like lice and like bed bugs.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
maybe
that
they're
tiny
on there. Maybe-
parasites.
yeah, that's
Not
a
enough
great
people
point.
have
Lice
had
should
lice.
be, right?
Like, if you don't answer cockroach as number one, you haven't had an infestation.
Right.
That's all that means.
Yeah,
That-
exactly.
That's what I'm.
If
That's
you
what
say
I'm thinking.
mosquitoes number one, you probably just had a pretty good life.
I'm
That
more
is so
scared of,
true.
like ticks though, like
Yeah.
ticks and things like
I
that.
know.
Well,
I
but the thing
know.
is, if you're a city person, you don't really encounter ticks. You
So
know?
that's true.
Yep.
But if you do, oh god.
Oh.
Remember, like you're supposed to hold a lighter up to it so it backs out so the head doesn't. Like, no, I'm not holding the
The
lighter
lighter
up
is-
to my ear.
Exactly. It's like my skin is there too.
Right. Or or if it's in your head, like my hair is there. I'm not putting a lighter up there. Are you nuts?
I'm sure people somewhere would say like the murder hornets.
Oh,
like,
gosh,
at least
yes.
we're not in an
That's
area where
true.
That's a thing.
That's
but-
true.
So number
That
one,
big,
2,
chase you
3,
down.
4, 5, 6. Number 7 on the most hated list.
Mm-hmm.
So top 10,
Yeah.
spotted lanternflies. What is a spotted lanternfly?
They surveyed a really particular group of people.
I want to look at the internals to this survey.
What on earth is a spotted lanternfly, and how is it in the top 10? It's ahead of June
It sounds
bugs.
like a moth, like a
spotted.
moth.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I have to.
Yeah.
My
That-
my curiosity will get to me.
The number one, the most popular insect is a butterfly.
Oh yeah, butterflies.
I would have guessed ladybug, but
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
But it's
Well, I
butterfly.
guess butterfly. Well, part of the thing is, no, butterflies count in that group of bugs that I could probably hold in my hands. It's just that I would be so scared that I would hurt it that I wouldn't try to catch it.
Butterflies
with.
number one, most popular. Fireflies number 2, ladybugs number 3. So we were all over it. We nailed it. Then honeybees number 4, dragonflies number 5. By the way, no, dragonflies suck.
Well, they're gigantic and scary. That's the issue.
Right.
Contribute nothing.
Praying mantis are in the top 10 of popular as well. Again,
They're cool.
no,
They're cool.
They're cool, but they're creepy. They're
Well-
not like fun cool.
I've
They're like
I've seen one
evil
eat,
cool.
I've seen one eat the face of a lizard that was trying to eat it.
How about when they follow you with their eyes and their head?
Oh,
When you're
Females,
looking
like,
one.
eat their mate.
Yeah.
oh, that's the other thing
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Yeah. It's not
It-
not fun cool.
and they're chill about it.
It's evil cool. You got a spotted lanternfly for
They're
us?
apparently invasive in Japan and South Korea and the United States. Okay, they're invasive. They're
To Ethan's
invasive
point,
species.
maybe this survey was conducted in Tokyo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have no idea why they're a problem still yet. Oh,
In the top
wait,
10.
They cause extensive damage to crops and ornamental plants. Okay.
Okay.
So
What is it? Do you got a picture there?
if
Can you
you're
describe a spotted lanternfly, or do you have a
I don't know. They,
Okay, it's kind of forgettable looking. Looks like a shield bug, kind of.
yeah,
it's
it's
kind of got a beetle look to it.
yeah, it's kind of a
Hold it up to the camera there.
Yeah.
Little something
hold
for
on.
the people watching on the cameras. I always say they might get a little benefit from watching on the cameras every day. Yeah, that looks like a very
Okay, so there were a lot of
Creepy
rural people, who are probably involved in that survey, and they're like, yeah, the spotted lanternfly is costing me $50,000 a
I'm
year.
stuffing the balance.
I hate these MFers. I hate them.
well. I think they got it right because I don't think there's anything worse than a mosquito.
Nah, they're horrible.
Yeah, so
They serve no purpose.
yeah, surprised that that's even a survey that has gone viral, but it is. And now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
Gabe Pfeiffer, thank you so much for your help today. We'll see you next week. Make sure you tune in every weekday morning starting at 5:30 to hear Gabe with Mike Ferguson and Stell Baby. Also check out the St. John the Philosopher YouTube channel to get more from Gabe there. I'll be back on Monday at 2 o'clock. In the meantime, keep here for the O'Reilly Report next, followed by the Tim Jones and Chris Arp Show on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
My friend, death is certain. Are you prepared? Larry Connors here. I don't want to scare you, but your funeral plans are an important conversation you need to have with your spouse, family, other loved ones. My friend Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial can help find you an affordable final expense life insurance policy, regardless of your health condition. You could qualify up to $30,000 of lifetime coverage. Life insurance plans with Senior Memorial also offer living benefits towards hearing and diabetic supplies, access to a 24-hour teledoc service, discounts on urns, caskets, tombstones.